Good mythical afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Ayala coming live from you on a beautiful Sunday morning. Hopefully everyone's had a good day. And as always, I do want to say thank you to those who are constantly doing their vlogs, keeping up, doing stuff like that. Today, what we're going to start with is the legacy of the Civil War in Mr. Ayala presentation. As always, please remember to write down your notes, and at the end of this vlog, there is a small question that you do need to type down in the doobly-doo down in the discussion. Please make sure you're writing these notes. For those of you who do this on a daily basis and every time we've done this, thank you very much. It's been a great pleasure to have you this year. Those who have not, please watch your work ethics, because it's really worrisome, especially at this time of the year. You're almost in 9th grade. You're this close. Get it done so you don't have to do it again. As always, make sure you're writing down your notes, you're paying attention. At the end of this video, please make sure you write down your question down in the doobly-doo. I mean, your answer to the question, I should say. It will be embedded in this, in the middle of it. So hopefully you pay attention, even though the answer to it won't really be to the end. So pay attention. As always, it's the legacy of the Civil War, the last vlog of the year. So we're going to start out with the cost of the war. We already know that it's the deadliest war in American history. Over 620,000 soldiers died. Over 1 million if you include our civilians. 3 million men served in the armies of the USA and the CSA. And the government spends lots and lots of money. So much money that we had to institute something called the income tax. Hint, that's something you need to know for your final and for your next test. So we had to have an income tax. We actually gave money to the government based on how much money you made. And it was the first time in our history that was really instituted. From there, we get to Lincoln's assassination. At his second inaugural address, Lincoln states that we need to bind up the nation's wounds and start healing again to become one. 5 days after the surrender, Lincoln and his wife went to Ford's Theater, and Lincoln is shot in the head by an actor named John Wilkes Booth, who actually broke his leg while trying to flee and then died from infection because of his leg. The Secretary of War was also stabbed by an accomplice, and it was a whole deal. John Wilkes Booth, what he wanted to do was try to overthrow the Union's government to allow the South to rise again after its defeat in the Civil War. And really all this did was make everyone really angry, because a lot of people in the South, even though they were upset about losing, they were honorable men and women, and they did not want, they were like, we were beaten for real. We need to take it like real men, real ladies, and deal with the consequences. While John Wilkes Booth was like, nope, not going to happen. I'm going to do something that's horrible and assassinate the president. After Lincoln's assassination, President number 17 is elected, and he becomes the next president. He dies on April 15, 1865. This murder stunned and upset the whole nation. We were just done with the Civil War. We were just getting ready to healing. The North was thrilled. The South was kind of depressed. And then this is kind of just like, you know, like a jab to the gut. And really, the nation was left to complete something we call Reconstruction without our leader. We needed to rebuild and reconstruct the United States government and the states that are in it. But without Lincoln, without the man with the plan, how is that going to work? And Andrew Johnson, president number 17, he's a Southerner. He's actually a Democrat. And it's a very, very, very dangerous situation that we got ourselves into. We'll look at, you get a little bit of Reconstruction. We'll review a little bit in class. You'll get the rest actually in 10th grade in U.S. history too. Oh, by the way, here is your question for this one. What do you think was the biggest cause and biggest effect of the Civil War? Reminder, write this down in the doobly-doo. Don't copy. Use full sentences and correct grammar. And I'll give you a hint. The answer's on the next couple slides. So, here you go. Booyah. Causes and effects. So, one of the major causes was conflict over slavery in the territories. Effects, abolition of slavery. We got rid of it with the Emancipation Proclamation and an additional amendment added to the Constitution. Make sure you write all this chart down. It's freaking awesome, and it'll help you a lot. The causes, the differences between the economies between the North and South. What was occurred? Because the South was agriculture and less industry, the South is devastated. The cause of failure to compromise in Congress. The effect, we get the Reconstruction of the South after the Civil War. The election of Lincoln was a cause of the war. One of the effects of the war was a growth of industry. Cause the secession of southern states. They left, so the state governments are trying to put their foot down. What happens? The federal national government becomes more powerful. What the cause of firing at Fort Sumter? Effect: the nations reunited. Please make sure that you wrote all of your notes. Thank you very much for having you this year. It's been a pleasure for a lot of you, and a lot of you have grown nicely, and it was great seeing that. I really do appreciate it. Please make sure you also finish your last discussion answer down in the doobly-doo. And for the last time, don't forget to be awesome.